This podcast is supported by Music Theater of Wenatchee, celebrating 64 years of bringing stories to life. From show-stopping musicals to powerful plays, the Music Theater of Wenatchee stage is where stories come alive. Now they are writing the next chapter, and you can help make it happen. To support the next act of community theater in Wenatchee, visit annex.mtow.org and donate today.
Opening night club.
We're not opening a nightclub.
It's the opening night club. We can't wait to watch an opening night show, because on opening night we always go with our opening night club. Opening night club.
Welcome to the Opening Night Club podcast. This is the podcast where we get together every week to discuss local theater right here in Central Washington. I am a very tired host, Kevin McKee, and I'm here with my friend, actor, playwright, and raconteur, Skyler Cuthill. How are you, Skyler?
I am, I believe, less tired, Kevin, because I had the wonderful luxury of being able to sleep in this morning, and you had to go right to it, right?
I did go right to it. Monday morning, out and hitting it.
Oh my gosh, and we got home at 1:30 last night, which is quite late for somebody north of 30 years old, right?
It was a late night. We will say right off the bat, this is maybe our first really late episode.
Mm-hmm.
We normally record on Sundays and release it on Monday morning early, and we could not record it on Sunday because we had a theater opening night of a type.
Yes.
That we were asked to participate in on Sunday night late in Seattle. And so that's the reason we couldn't do it. And that's the reason we're doing it today, Monday.
Worldwide metal sensation, Slaughter to Prevail, came through Seattle, right? They were at the
That's
Paramount,
right.
and they heard about this extremely prestigious podcast, Opening Night Club. And just like doing local promotion with radio shows or whatever, they were like, Kevin McKee, we need you there. We need you promoting our show.
We do have a few people that actually listen to all these episodes, and they will know that we talked about Slaughter to Prevail several weeks ago.
Yes, we did. We genuinely did.
We genuinely did.
Yeah.
And so after that, it became, well, would you like to go see the show?
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, yes, I think we would. And so we got there, and our friend, Joel, who is part of the backstage crew, he got us there, and he gave us these stickers, these red skull death head stickers that proclaim that we had all access to the show.
We were in the catacombs of the Paramount. We were backstage. We were side stage. We were at the Paramount Club, right?
That's right.
It was very prestigious.
Yeah, well, one of the places we couldn't go apparently was through the front door. We tried to get in through the front door with the hoi polloi where they were paying tickets, and we were told, "What are you doing here? You need to go through the stage door."
VIPs not welcome.
I guess so. So we had to go in the stage door at the Paramount through the bowels of the Paramount and come out onto the wings of the stage.
It was actually very fun because at the Paramount, because it's like a big fancy organization, there were people to open like all the doors.
Yeah.
Right. Every time you approached the door, there was like a guy in a jacket that would like open it for you. It was like, oh.
Well, the guy in the jacket, you'd walk up and he would be like, "Oh, can I see your, okay, you're all access. Okay, you can come in." So we were behind the velvet rope everywhere we went. And I will say that we've been going if you do go to the Paramount and you go downstairs where they do have the large bathrooms. So the men's and women's restrooms are in the basement of the Paramount, and off to the side is the Paramount Club. And they have someone at the front desk at the Paramount Club checking to see if you can come in. And I've never had the guts to go up and ask her, okay, what do I have to do to become a member of the Paramount Club? And this time, because we had an all-access pass, I'm like, let's just try it. Because the other bars, there were so many people drinking.
Yes.
Wow, there was a lot of people at this show.
It was extremely well sold.
It was very well sold.
Packed. And the Paramount is huge, right?
Yeah.
It's like many thousands of people.
Yeah, I think Joel said that it was 3,000 seat theater.
I believe it. Just looking at the number of people that were hanging around.
And we were walking around really during the opening act, and there was a lot of seats, but not that many. It was sold all the way up to the top.
Well, there were a lot of seats open, but there were also a ton of people because it was a metal show.
Yes.
So they were all on the floor banging into each other.
Yeah, that's
right.
true.
So they were, in terms of like the square footage recommended per person,
Yeah.
they were really crammed in there on the floor.
They were tight.
By purpose.
Yeah.
Right.
No, so we got in, I'll say we got into the Paramount Club.
Yes.
And which was wonderful. And we still had to go in and buy a drink, but they had hors d'oeuvres and coffee and water, and there was nobody in there.
Yeah.
So I was able to talk to the bartender down there, and apparently it is like a bump. It's an add-on if you are buying tickets for Paramount. If you're going to see the Broadway shows at the Paramount, it's like an extra $50 a person that you get a VIP ticket or whatever, and you can go to the Paramount Club, a very exclusive bar in the basement. I'm assuming there's other perks.
It was like, to me, it sounded similar to the airport lounges.
Yeah.
They're like the exclusive, like American Airlines lounge or whatever.
Yeah.
So it was like that to me. It sounded. That's the comparison I drew anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, Slaughter to Prevail. They're a Russian metal band.
Yes.
Right. We talked about it a couple of episodes ago, but just like to get back into it or whatever. And they are deathcore. Right, death metal. And I really loved metal when I was younger. When I was living in Seattle, I would go to El Corazon, which is a garbage dump in South Seattle. And it was very fun for me going to the show because it was basically the same demographics as I remembered it being in like 2010. Which is, it's like 70% men in hoodies, 25% very alty women, and then 5% men without hoodies, which is to say no kind of shirt whatsoever.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, I remember this. This is fun. And it was fun putting on like the old uniform. Like I had boots, jeans, and a black t-shirt. Right? I was like, oh yeah, this is what you wear, right? Or a hoodie, right?
Yeah.
No, it was genuinely a lot of fun. They were very heavy.
Very
heavy. Yeah. When I was kind of drifting away from the scene because, I left Seattle and couldn't go to shows anymore or whatnot, Behemoth, Nile, and like Mastodon were getting very, very big. And so that was like the comparison I was making. Like, oh, you guys are like as heavy as Mastodon. Wow. It was very heavy. Right?
It was very heavy.
Yeah.
I'll say right off the bat, this is not my style of music.
Yeah.
It's not something I listen to in the car. And we got there, and the openers were Attila and Whitechapel.
Yeah.
And which are legit metal bands, and they were great. When we went to watch Whitechapel, we actually watched that from the back of the orchestra level, and the light show was stinking amazing. There was a lot of DMX going on.
It was very cool, and it was, when we were on the side, watching Slaughter to Prevail, we were like hearing what the monitors, basically, so it wasn't actually very loud, but in the audience listening to Whitechapel, the sound was like attacking you. Yeah. Right, like the vibrations were like attacking you. It's very weird when you can feel the sound, like on your shirt.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. We were able to watch Whitechapel from the audience, and then when Whitechapel cleaned up and left the stage, Joel came back and said, "Okay, I'll sneak you backstage just between the shows or between the bands so that you can see what happens." Because he knows I'm a theater tech guy. I want to see how they roll this stuff and how everything gets hooked up. And it was a machine. They rolled everything out within a couple minutes, and then they were rolling stuff on. And I know Joel, he was ready. They were supposed to have like 20 minutes between the bands, and really they were ready. And they had 10 minutes where they were waiting for the bands to come out, and everything was on time. And then Joel said, well, just sit over here, you can watch a couple songs. And so we were in the wings for the entire Slaughter to Prevail show.
Yeah. The entire time.
And it was pretty clear that, so Alex Terrible is the lead singer, and that guy is in his own space.
Yes.
I mean, he was fired up.
He was very sweaty. And it was hot. It was hot up there. And I was like, I'm not even doing anything. So these guys, my gosh,
Well, and he is a personality that it backstage, it was the same personality. He ripped off his shirt and took off the demon mask, and he was covered in tattoos and just an enormous man.
Mm-hmm.
And the other founding member of Slaughter is Jack, and he's the lead guitarist who always wears a mask, but we got to see him without a mask.
It was very exclusive, very prestigious.
Very exclusive, because he was changing masks right in front of us.
Oh, my
and
gosh.
He was, Skyler was giving him devil horns, and so he's turned and was giving Skyler devil horns off to the wings.
And I was like, man, you guys are really heavy. And they are.
Yes.
They were very heavy.
And Jack was super cool. He came back during the, in between songs, and he's handing us water bottles and thanking us for being there. And I don't know if he thought we were more important than we are, but
We're opening nightclub.
we are
baby.
opening
All right,
nightclub.
Listen. All right. Humans, a brief primer. Countess of Pocatello. All right. A lot of prestige in this corner here.
Yeah, I was really. I have never been backstage at the Paramount, and I think both Skyler and I were going through the tech and looking at the consoles they had for raising and lowering floor panels on the stage. They had an enormous EOS system for controlling the lights. They had one of the tallest fly systems. Before they had a catwalk, it was probably 25, 30 feet.
It was very high.
So,
Yeah,
anyhow.
kicked ass. Well, you were actually at the Paramount not that long ago
Yes.
because you saw The Notebook.
It was a complete...
A little bit of contrast, The Notebook.
it was a different crowd.
Slaughter to
It was
Prevail.
a different crowd that went to the Notebook musical as the crowd that was at Slaughter to Prevail.
Not as many people hurtling over the barriers
No.
and being manhandled by security
Yes.
at the Notebook.
Yes. Yeah. Nobody could actually get to the stage because there was like a DMZ with security, and they were keeping everybody back. But the crush of the crowd was enough that they were having to pass people over so they wouldn't pass out.
It was fun watching over the course of the night the crowd get more and more amped up. So at the beginning there was only a little bit of a pit, which actually kind of disappointed me because back in the day we had like huge pits. But it was only a little bit of a pit, and then I was like, oh, it's kind of a shame. But I didn't understand that like they were getting going.
Yeah.
Right. So once Slaughter to Prevail got going, it was a constant stream of people being thrown over the barrier.
Yeah.
And the security guys. I was like, why aren't you guys wearing gloves? Because they looked very sweaty. Right. The people getting thrown over the barrier. I was like, you guys are like manhandling them. You should wear gloves or something. You're getting sweat on you. But no, it was very close to what I remember. So I was actually charmed by like, oh yeah, it's the same.
I was talking to
People are still
Joel.
doing it.
He's been doing this. They finished their European tour, and now they're doing their North American tour. He's been touring with them for 6 months, and this is the first time that they've performed in Washington State. It's the first time his band hasn't performed. He's been touring with his band, and they haven't performed in Washington State. So he was pretty excited. He was a little disappointed that the mosh pit wasn't bigger.
See, so we didn't see it later on, but that was almost my first response when he got in there and Whitechapel was going. It was not a very big pit.
No.
Come on, guys.
Well, and he was expecting the big wall of death, where everybody lines up on one side and just red rover, and they just collide into each other. And I couldn't see the crowd most of the time. You might have been able to see him more, but I didn't see that happening.
I did not see that happening.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. People are less physically expressive now than they used to be.
Yeah.
But still, I was happy to see everybody like shirtless spilling over the barrier.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah.
Well, I was kind of surprised that there was a fair contingent of middle-aged dudes, gray goatees, right, in the, hoodies.
I've got awful news about you and me, Kevin McKee.
Yes.
We're middle-aged dudes.
That's what I mean. I was
That's you and me.
I was afraid it was going to be young punks, right?
Oh.
And I was going to feel so old, but it's like, I don't feel so old here.
Yeah, no, there were a lot of people that were like me or whatnot who I started listening to metal in like 2002 with like Iron Maiden or whatever, right? So yeah.
Yeah. No, it was guys in hoodie and very goth chicks.
Yes.
A lot of goths.
Yeah, no, that was the scene again back when I was doing stuff, right?
Yeah.
So, no, it was wonderful. It was a lot of fun, just like also being backstage at the Paramount.
Yeah.
Because it's an important theater. It's a big, nice theater.
It was a lot of fun to do that. We were there, and one of the things that we were able to see is how the backstage tech does work. They've got like 8 roadies and then a couple techs, guitar tech and a drum tech. So when they finished the encore and they did Seattle Good Night and they pulled the lights up, almost immediately there was a guy, the legs were going out and the back curtain and the enormous bear was lifted out of the way and there was people scurrying, and Joel had everything wrapped up, all of the guitars, all of the electronics were done in, he said 7 minutes. He can do it in 7 minutes. And everything is taken off the stage in 30 minutes. And they were just going to town.
They were extremely efficient.
Very.
And also, speaking of the drummer, I will say that I'd always been curious. I'd never been backstage at a metal show or whatever, so I had never seen a drummer's legs or feet during a performance. And if you listen to, like, you know, real heavy stuff or whatever, Cannibal Corpse or what have you, the drums are going so wild. They are so, you know, and it's just crazy. And for a long time, I was always like, is it artificial? Do they have like a drum machine or something? Because it's just so hard and it's so fast. And that drummer, all four limbs, his legs were going wild. Right. It was really, really fun to see that. Oh, no, a human is doing this. Wonderful. Yeah. Sometimes I struggle with one hand doing one thing and another hand doing another thing. I assume I'm not the only one because there's a famous saying about it. Right. You could see that all four of his limbs were going wild. Right. Both arms were doing something different. Both legs were doing something different. And it wasn't just that like he was whacking away with his feet or whatever. His feet also had different positions.
Yes.
So it wasn't just that the both feet were going at different speeds. They were also hitting different things.
Yeah.
It was absolutely nutso.
Yeah, he had multiple pedals down there so that you could see. I mean, we were on his right side, and so you could see his right foot would twist in and hit something in the center, and twist out and hit something.
Yeah.
And so he was going all out.
Yeah.
It was one of the things where, again, it's not my music, and at a certain level, it kind of sounds like noise to me, but coming from the backstage, there was so much talent going on to do what they do.
No, metal and jazz are like the most sophisticated, technically complex kinds of music. Well, also classical. But those are the ones that use the really like insane, like 32 or over 47 time signatures or whatever.
Yeah.
That's where it gets really, really nuts. Enormous technical talent. In metal, absolutely, at the highest level.
And beyond technical talent, they did have a section where Alex Terrible brought out a couple other, I would assume, Russians, who were also these enormous tattooed bald men, and they were part of the bare knuckles fighting championship that Alex was going to be competing in Daytona when the tour got to Daytona.
UFC actually was in Seattle the day before.
Yeah.
I wasn't there, obviously, but I did watch. Right.
Okay.
I have not followed bare knuckle fighting, which is more of like an Eastern European type
Very
thing.
much.
But I do follow UFC, which is very contrary to like the rest of my personality, but whatever. But there's one UFC fighter from Yakima, and he got absolutely wiped out. It was a terrible shit. It was embarrassing. It was like, it looked like if you put me in the ring.
I do love that you are following that.
No, I like it.
It brings something interesting to the podcast that I certainly couldn't provide.
The UFC angle.
Yeah. No, the bare knuckles fighting with music. I did talk to Joel, and I was like, so are you going to be doing that? He's going to fight and then have a show? He's like, no, he's going to do the show, and after the show, he's going to go bare knuckles fight in the ring
that
in
makes
Daytona.
More sense. What if he gets hit in the jaw, right?
No, I completely understand. I just cannot imagine being that type of guy.
Russians also do a lot of the European martial arts tournaments.
Oh.
Yeah, so like swords and armor and halberds and whatnot. They're very big on that kind of thing. So that's also cool if you want to see, guys with maces whacking each other, which we all do. That's they're way into that.
Well, and if you don't know this about Slaughter to Prevail and Alex Terrible, if you do look up Alex Terrible Bear or Slaughter to Prevail Bear, the first thing on YouTube is him wrestling an enormous bear.
They just have it. They're just like their national character. Or
it's just what they do.
Yeah, they just commune with the bear spirit.
Yeah.
In the same way that I'm sure you have communed with a bald eagle.
I did that this weekend too.
Yeah. All Americans are perpetually doing it.
Yes.
Russians commune with the bear spirit. Right.
So we do want to thank Slaughter to Prevail and Joel for getting us backstage at the Paramount to see their show after we mentioned them here on Opening Night Club. So that was a treat. But we also had a local show, which is really our thrust of what we do here at the Performing Arts Center with friends of ours, and they did a fantastic job. We saw that show opening on Friday night. That was My Way, the Frank Sinatra retrospective.
Weren't we there Thursday?
We were there Thursday night. Okay, I'm really tired.
We are both beat to hell. A little bit of contrast, not only to The Notebook and Slaughter to Prevail, but also My Way, the Frank Sinatra tribute, and Slaughter to Prevail. But yeah, My Way is more our speed, right? It was our local friends, and it was a lot of fun.
If you know anything about Frank Sinatra, you probably know a few songs that you can sing right now, and they did that song and a few others, and then some more, and then a few songs you've never heard of that Frank Sinatra did.
So I was pretty impressed because, it's sold as Frank Sinatra songs, right? And it wasn't just Frank Sinatra songs, they were medleys. They would do like 2 minutes of one song and then 1 minute of another song and then back into 2 minutes of a different song. So it actually was like an impressive job of memorization and musicality and whatnot. I mean, these are sophisticated songs anyway, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Right. So I was pretty impressed with our friends.
There was only a couple songs that they did all the way through.
Yeah.
And I think they did 50 to 60 songs in an hour and a half.
Yeah, a lot.
There was a lot going on. And so they were skipping through it. And probably my only criticism is I kept wanting them to go farther into the song.
Oh.
Because I love these songs so much.
My knowledge of the Frank au revoir is quite a bit lesser. So they sang Fly Me to the Moon and My Way. And I was like, oh yeah, I know those ones. They did My Way in My Way.
Well, he also, in the Frank Sinatra songbooks, he would do standards, and a lot of them came from Broadway musicals. So there are songs from Girl Crazy and Anything Goes. So the table next to us was the Wenatchee High School Theater Group.
Yeah,
and so
Cade was there. Maya Scanlon.
Cade was there with the Don McCormick and some of the other kids from the program over there, from the vocal program. And I was able to ask them, so how many of these songs do you know? Because they're teenagers.
Yeah.
They have not been listening to a lot of songs from the 40s and 50s. And they knew the songs that came from musicals, of course. And then on the other side of me was Glenn Isaacson,
yes,
who knows absolutely every single one of these. And he could tell me who wrote them and how they changed them for the show, how they changed it for My Way.
They also had spoken word sections between the medleys and whatnot. And that was fun too. They talked about, where Frank was from and, his history and the songs and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And it reminded me quite a bit of my mom loved Regis Philbin. Remember Regis?
Yes.
Regis and Kathy Lee.
Yes.
Right? And he actually originally wanted to be a crooner. He grew up in the Bing Crosby era.
Yeah.
Right. And my mom, after Regis and Kathy Lee finished, he went on tour. And my mom took me to one of his performances. And it was like this.
Yeah.
Where he would sing a song and then he would tell a story about the past. And they would sing a song and he'd tell a story. Right. And it always was seared into my brain, kind of my touchstone memory of it is that because he's from a different era, after it became apparent to him that he was not going to be a singer in 1946 or whatever.
Yeah.
He just didn't have the pipes for it. He decided that this new TV thing seemed pretty nifty.
Yeah.
And he drove down to the ABC studio in New York City and he walked in and he said to the secretary, "I'd like to be on TV." And she said, "Oh yeah, we have a form for that. This way, sir." And he was hired that day.
No.
Yes. He wasn't put on TV. He was like a production assistant or whatever.
Okay.
But they put him on the track to become on-air talent. You could do that. In 1948 or whatever, you could drive to ABC and go, "I want to be on TV." And they'd be like, "Yeah, of course. We need that. We need people."
I'll tell you. So I have a degree in broadcast communication. And so, no, I wanted to be on TV. And at a certain level, I wanted to be a crooner.
You wanted to be a crooner?
Yeah, I had a Bing Crosby fixation when I was in college, when I was doing the broadcast production stuff. I wore the old man hat.
Oh my gosh.
That's where I started wearing cardigans.
Oh my
I
gosh.
learned to smoke a pipe.
Yeah.
Yes. And I would listen, I'd have my Walkman and I would listen to Bing Crosby CDs or tapes, right? Cassette tapes. And I'd sing along as I'm walking through campus doing that.
You were listening to Pennies from Heaven.
Yeah.
As you walked from lecture hall to lecture hall.
Yes. I went through Ella Fitzgerald and Frank Sinatra and all of the songbooks, so I knew all of these songs.
Okay.
My Way was really good for me. It felt like it was written for me.
Okay, so this is a funny parallel because
It's a funny parallel.
Well, Slaughter to Prevail was kind of like going back 20 years for me.
Yes.
Despite them being a modern contemporary
Yes.
band, but still, that's when I was integrated into the scene was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And so for you, this is going back to your youth.
Yep.
How funny.
Yeah. And I would point out that when I was in college, this long-haired college kid dressed like Bing Crosby in the cardigan, I was voted best dressed in the communications department, not because I looked like Bing Crosby, but because at the time I looked like Kurt Cobain.
Oh.
Right? Because I was wearing a flannel shirt underneath a ratty cardigan. I just happened to hit grunge right at the right time.
Did you have the ripped jeans?
Oh, of course.
Oh my gosh, incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
It was a very scruffy looking Bing Crosby.
Kurt Cobain, Bing Crosby combine.
Yeah.
That's what the world needs.
I think so.
That's the $1 million idea we've got here, folks.
No, and at the time, I really wasn't even into Nirvana. I mean, they came to WSU, and I didn't see them.
Oh,
I know.
Man.
I was program manager for the alt radio station.
And you were like, nah.
No, I
Flash in the pan.
I was.
Who cares?
I was playing old blues and things like that.
Oh, my gosh.
I know.
Kurt Cobain was there.
Huh? Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. No, I mean, this was before they were Nirvana. They were just doing the circuit.
Okay.
Yeah. No, they did it all.
But yeah, My Way was really good. Our friends, TJ.
TJ Grosh.
Yes.
Was fantastic. So they basically had a baritone, tenor, alto, and soprano.
Yes.
And Ernest Palmer was the baritone. He really was just oozing Frank Sinatra. He
Ton of
had it down.
Ton of charisma,
and he could do Old Blue Eyes.
That was his costume.
Oh, of
the
course.
white tux.
Of
right.
course
So Ernest was like, yeah,
was.
I'm ready. Put me in.
Of course.
He's ready to croon.
And
he did. By God, but he did.
He did a fantastic job. TJ Grosh was the tenor, and he was fantastic. And of course, his voice is so well trained. I never worry that he's going to slide into the wrong note. He is just right on. He is just a singing machine. I love that voice.
And Amy and Haley.
That's right. Amy Edwards was our soprano, and Haley was the alto. And we really got to hear Haley growl on some of that.
She went for it.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. So they got up there and they had some dance. They had some interstitial dialogue that they would do between the songs and really just pass off songs between each other. They were on stage the entire time, and I was exhausted watching them sing so much the whole time.
But it was like a bar setting, so they had drinks. I'm assuming it was tea and water, but still, you want the water. You know, that water helps you.
They did have real champagne.
Oh, good for them.
Yeah, they actually mentioned it. They got like a... you're not supposed to drink on stage.
It's a dangerous proposition.
And there's a lot of theaters just say you don't. And I know music theater, they don't want you drinking on stage. And at the Performing Arts Center, unless you have a dispensation from the board, you should not be drinking on stage.
But they got it.
They got it because they wanted to have champagne at the end of the show to raise a toast to Frank Sinatra.
Well, Frank was a little bit of a drinker, right? So, it's appropriate.
There was a lot of songs about drinking, a lot of songs about chasing women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Classic Frank.
Classic Frank.
Classic Blue Eyes.
It was a great show. I am so glad we were able to get that here in town, and so glad to see my friends do so well in this.
Yeah, and it was only the one weekend, so if you're only learning about it now, you missed it.
You missed out. But I think that kind of brings us up to the things that are coming up. If you did not have an opportunity to see My Way, or you did not have an opportunity to see Slaughter to Prevail at the Paramount, you've got opportunity to see more opening nights coming up. This next weekend, the Afraida High School 1X will be opening up on April 2nd. And that show is going to be April 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And then they're taking a break and coming back on the 17th and 18th.
Yes.
At April 10th, Maskers will be opening up Around the World in 80 Days. We've got opening night for that on April 10th. I think we might be going to that one maybe later.
On April 17th, Quincy opens up Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Oh, I forgot all about that.
There's a lot of theater going on to the
Okay,
east.
that's
in
right.
the basin.
In the basin.
Everything's opening up.
They're saving it for spring.
Yeah, kind of interesting. But yeah, really looking forward to Joseph. We have some friends in there, and that's Brian Higgins, right?
Brian Higgins is directing that show.
Yeah, and they've done a good job previously.
Yeah. I really do like that show. What a fun show with great music.
It's so light, pleasant, high energy. It's not too long. It's right in my wheelhouse. I love Joseph.
And it has a lot of men in that show.
Yeah.
And it's not all tenors.
Great opportunities because it's in the different vocal styles or whatever. So great opportunity if you're a man who wants to sing. Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Yeah, I love the brothers.
Bad news if you're a woman who doesn't get to be the narrator.
That's true. There's very few women in that show.
Yeah, wives, right.
Yeah.
Potiphar's wife.
Yes.
She gets to dance sexily.
Yeah.
In one number. It's an important number, though.
It's an important number.
She's an evil lady.
Yes. And so April 20th is the auditions for The Shark's Broken.
Yes.
And that one is a 3-man show. So you can go to mtow.org and get more information on that show. I'm sure they have information on auditioning and script selections for that.
Yes, and we have Macbeth auditions coming up the weekend of the 11th, and we also have an alternate audition day. Sometimes that happens when you only have one audition day. Enough people had conflicts that they have added another audition day. They are going to be auditioning on the 5th at 3 o'clock at Lincoln Park in Wenatchee, and they have sides available. So if you want to familiarize yourself with it, you should contact Cam or JJ, and they can hook you up.
And if they're interested in finding it online, is Facebook the best way to find their job production information?
Yeah, they do have a Facebook page, and they have an Instagram page as well.
Okay.
You can also just reach out to me.
Okay.
I took a look. I'm going to be at the alternate audition day. I have a conflict with the next one. So I took a look at the slides, and it's Shakespeare. So it's not a bad idea to take a look early because the language is a little bit intense.
Yeah.
Good idea to get your tongue around those words and just grapple with them and, give yourself a little runway on that one.
And do you think they're looking for an English accent?
I don't know.
Okay.
It also wouldn't be English.
Oh, Scottish.
Yeah.
Okay.
Macbeth! You cannot be doing this to me, Macbeth!
I don't want to hear bad Scottish accents. Can you imagine? Oh,
Us
Lord.
all going wild on it.
Everybody sounds like Scrooge McDuck.
You can never be doing this, Macbeth! The witches have misled you! No, that is up to Cam in all of his wisdom, whether or not he will attack the valley with 18 different Scottish brogues.
Oh, man.
Brogues. Bruges.
Okay, the next opening night is Legally Blonde on April 29th.
Yes.
We will definitely be there. That is a big one. That is the Apple Blossom musical, and it will be at the Numerica Performing Arts Center. And we have so many local theater luminaries in that show. We've got Stephanie Etherington, and she is back. She's playing Elle Woods, and I love working with Stephanie. I have not acted. I've directed her up at the Hill when she was Maria, and I've acted alongside her in Footloose in 2002.
Yeehaw!
I think she was Rusty.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who are you?
I was cowboy number 2.
Oh, you've told me about this.
Yes. If you ever look at my byline in a playbill, I will almost always include that I was in Footloose as cowboy number 2.
With the beautiful Stephanie Etherington.
Yes.
Wow.
And I had no scene. Well, I guess I did have a scene because I was a cowboy in the bar scene
Yes.
when they show up and learn to dance.
When you guys bully them.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, my line was, I say we throw him in the pool.
Nice.
Yeah, that was it.
He still got it, folks.
I still have my line.
24 years later.
I know all my line from that show.
Wow. Yeah, it's not just Stephanie, though. We also have Kyle Eberth, and we have TJ, speaking of, right?
Yes.
And we have David Williams.
Oh, that's right.
He's the monster.
I should know.
Yes.
I should know.
And Skyler. Other Skyler.
And
All
other Skyler.
Yes.
Yeah. No, there is a lot of people, and I'm sorry we're not mentioning our friends that are in that show. But Skyler and I are not in the show, so we haven't been involved, and I can't wait to see it.
It'll be fun.
Yeah. No,
It's a fun show.
I'm really looking forward to it. Moving past that one, on May 14th are the Apple Awards at the Performing Arts Center. This is where all of the high school shows will find out who had the best show this year and who is the best actor, who was the best supporting actor in the area.
They always put on a really good pageant. You know, it's not just like they hand it out or whatever. It's not, like a meeting, right? It's Higgins, right? Higgins directs it.
Higgins directs it.
Yeah.
And if you didn't have a chance to see every high school show like Skyler and I did, you'll be able to see parts of all of the shows that will be presented at the Apple Awards.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. They bring up the kids, and they both teach the kids in like kind of new medley type stuff, for like everybody, and then they also do numbers from their shows. Yeah. So no, it's like a big production. It's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun. Rounding out May, on May 16th is Dangerous Women, which has been done almost yearly. That'll be done up at ICCA, and if you haven't seen it, we definitely recommend it. And I think that might be it. We got stuff in June, but I think we've got enough. I think we've been talking long enough.
And so once April is done, that's kind of the season for a while.
For a while,
yeah.
Until we hit the Apple Blossom show and we start hitting summer, and then we'll have to start talking Leavenworth Summer Theater.
Yeah, and 1776.
And 1776.
Yes.
Hot August nights.
Yeah, I mean, so like we're finishing up the spring season, and then everybody's going into rehearsal for the summer season. So that'll be Macbeth, Shark is Broken, 1776, LST, yada, yada, yada.
We got a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll have a few interviews coming up soon, but we do have an opening night in Ephrata this next weekend. So go out and see some shows. It's important to support local theater. See the shows when you can, but always when you can, go out and see another opening night.